Hey, happy Monday. Welcome to Draglist Live, where we bench race with the world's top drag racers. My name's Bill Pratt. It's great to be with you tonight. And tonight, we are just thrilled to be joined by Jason Harris, four-time PDRA world champion, and the guy who just pocketed 50 grand with a huge pro mod win this past weekend. Perfect timing, perfect guest, and plenty to talk about with one of the baddest pro mod racers in the country. Before we get started talking with Jason, let's go to John real quick. John, how are you doing?
We're doing great here, BP, and howdy from Houston, everybody. Please join us on the live chat. I'll take notes and I'll pass your questions and comments along to BP and Jason.
Thank you, John. And folks, click the like, the share, the big thumbs up down there at the bottom of your screen. Let your friends know we have Jason Harris here live. And to prove it, let's bring him in. Jason Harris, welcome to the show.
How you guys doing?
We're doing
Doing
good,
great.
thrilled. You seem to be doing all right. I guess it's just perfect timing. We've had you lined up. Miss K got you a long time ago, and this turned out to be a perfect weekend or a perfect Monday night because you just had a fantastic weekend. Tell us about that big win.
Yeah, so we go down to the Snowbirds just like we always have for the last 10, 15 years. I've been racing pro mods. And since Wes and them took reins of it and called it the three race winter series, Snowbirds is the first one of the season. And went down there with expectations just coming off the win at VMP the last PDRA race. So, you know, we made a switch over to the Hearts Charger. We did a little testing around here, and we had high expectations when we got there. We got there a little early. Seems like we get earlier and earlier every year. We left on Sunday, actually my wife's birthday. Left a little early, and we got down there Monday, and we had a little trouble testing. We didn't really do so well. We had wrapped the car with the new party time. Well, not the new, but the new to me retro scheme that Harold had back when he started,
Right.
and, and we totally just screwed up testing. We didn't really have a lot of uh, runs that were successful, and just little stuff. We had uh, we had put a spare motor in just because we had a lot of runs on our other motor, and we didn't have time to freshen it. We had valve spring issues. I think I broke like 4 or 5 valve springs. I broke two warming it up and then made one run and broke 4 or 5 more. So I ended up changing all them. So that blew one day of testing completely out. And then the next day, proceeded. Mark Micke, he's been a good sponsor for me and a good friend for a long time. He had got me a new shifter for the party time scheme. It was a black one with a gold handle, and I had put a little too long of a bolt in the bottom of it just to kind of mount it, and it was pushing up on the solenoid a little bit and wouldn't allow it to go into third gear. So it goes to the high side, knocks the high gear clutches out of the tranny. So spent the next afternoon pulling tranny out and getting him to rebuild it.
Wow.
Yep. So basically going into Thursday, man, we had hadn't had anything. So we're kind of counting on Thursday as a test session. So we had everything kind of lined out. Well, then they moved the schedule up on us.
Wow.
And when they moved the schedule up on us, which was a smart idea, hats off to BMP and Gavin and those guys and Victor for making the call, because I think Sunday looked terrible as far as weather wise. Um, Come out Q1 was our first full pass of the week. But it was a successful, went 61. Brandon Stroud's been, tuning with me for the last 2 or 3 years, and me and him got a great handle on the car and the program. And being we had the Hearts Charger, it was still going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and we knew it because we wasn't really sure. We had made several runs with it here at home, but we hadn't really made anything in that conditions that we were going to be in Florida. But it was a good qualifying. We got into that night qualifier, that Q2. We kind of did some math, and we knew that it was probably going to be the best one of the weekend. Wasn't really sure if we were going to get Q4, but it worked out great, and laid down a heck of a pass, 56-0 at 211. So
Right.
yeah.
That's flat getting it.
Yeah. I felt like we left a little bit on the table, maybe a little bit there, but just because we wasn't really used to the fueling, and we were trying to make it happy and make it live, but make it fast at the same time. Um, but I was really surprised when it did go to 56-0. The car was just on a string all weekend, and you know, We almost sat out Q3 just because it was in the middle of the day and it was going to be the hottest. Because when the way snowbirds work, where you go out at a different time. So if you qualify good, you're going to go out later in the day. But it
Mm.
works out good at night because then you're going to be probably one of the two. But actually, in this case, it kind of hurts you a little bit because the morning sessions were really good in the morning if you called you because it was taking about 3 hours to run 80 cars.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was a heck of a show. I mean, and we would go out. So we decided to make Q3 just because we knew it was going to be a race day tune up kind of thing.
Right.
And it worked out good for us because that's a lot of the data we used for the first two rounds of the race.
That's amazing. And when it comes down to race day, so you sort of kind of had a handle on it, maybe left a little on the table, but it seemed like after all that trouble, of course, four-time world champ there, you probably have the experience, but you settled right in. Did you leave on some folks? I didn't see the round by round. Well, how close were folks to you?
Yeah. So I'm a terrible, snowbirds. We do chip draw. We don't do the standard pro or sportsman ladder.
Okay.
So it's a random draw. And that's kind of how they do World Series and they do all the other ones. And it's something that Wes came up with, as kind of I don't want to say gimmick, but kind of a newer thing that pro mod guys are not used to. And some of us like it, some of us hate it. I'm not very good at it. I seem to have a terrible draw. I just draw the baddest of the bad. I always have. I mean, you can look back at my record when I drew for World Series, man. I mean, it just if you were a badass, I drew you. And
Wow.
so first draw we get Mark Micke, which is not an
Yeah.
easy feat because he's number one qualifier at all three races last year. And that I knew that, but Mark had kind of struggled. So I really wasn't super worried about it. But I mean, he is a good friend and a good competitor. So I didn't want to I didn't want to take advantage of him at that point in time, but drawing him first round was probably one of the better draws because he's a turbo car and they seem to struggle in the heat of the day.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough. I think I was 23 on him, maybe. Um, and I went 58. And he shook. So
Yeah. Okay.
so then second round, of course, why not? Let's just keep up with the turbo setup. I drew the baddest man on the planet lately has been Jimmy Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So draw Jimmy Taylor, which is not an easy feat in itself because I knew Jimmy was a ticking time bomb. I mean, he was basically going to either lay a record setter down or he was, going to try to just make a run and see if he could just get by me by either reaction time or just making a smooth run A to B. But luckily, I think what got us then is the track was a little bit different, not bad. And when I say bad track, comparatively to night runs or to day
Right.
runs, but it was definitely not a good draw for me. But to draw Jimmy, that was going to be the time to draw him because I think the track
Right.
got up about 10 degrees and I think the DA was way up. So it was a better draw than maybe somebody else. And then
Right.
I want to say I was 17 against Jimmy. And went down and went 60 flat, I think 61 maybe.
Hmm.
And it was good run A to B, no problems. He shook. I think he tried to either go for or they were having issues. They just didn't seem to have the consistent cars they've had been. So no problems. Go back, go through tech. Everything's good. The third draw was my buddy Randy Weatherford, who's been on fire lately.
Yeah.
He's just been stellar competitor. I mean, just has since he's come out with a Hearts charger, he's just been on top. I mean, everywhere we go, it seems like he's right there with us. So that was not another good draw.
Yeah.
And me and Randy talk about every other day, if not every day, and we're good friends, and so we know each other real well, which makes it a little harder at times. But
Right.
there's no friendship when the burnouts are done.
Right. Right.
So
Is that when the 56 rolled up or another 58?
I think I went 57 to his 58.
Got
We
it. Wow.
I was 17 again. He uh he ran good. He was 30 something, but I mean he went 58 something. So
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
you're hitting consistent like safe bracket racing. I mean, nobody wants a a triple zero because you're one away from 1,000 away from a red light, right? So, a 23 and a couple of 17s, and that's going to get the job done.
yep,
That's
yep.
you good. And of
Yeah,
course, with you guys, you have to, right? Because you name the guys you just named, they're not going to wait for you. You know, that's pretty amazing.
they're absolutely. I did have a bad light. Like I say, in every race you got to have one luck round,
Right,
and I did have a luck round in the semis. I drew Kevin Rivenbark, and Kevin
right,
had run good, and he had gotten lucky. So it's not that I didn't think he was underperformed than we are. I mean, they absolutely have the best stuff in the world, but I
right.
just don't think they had a handle on it, and I knew that going in. So I was a little bit cautious, but then we both staged at the same time, and I think it threw us both off.
Mm.
And we both were just not on. I think he was 120, I was 80. So I mean, it just it got us. But he went 65 to my 58, I think, or
Got
57,
it.
and it just wasn't. I don't think he could have been perfect and beat me.
Yeah,
But
those guys are tough though. But they've been tough for like a decade and a half, maybe two. It's you
yeah,
got to stay just staying on top of it every year is unbelievable.
yep. And then in the finals, I had Frigo, and Frigo's been running really well. They've got Jeff Pierce, they've got Stevie Fast. I mean, they've got the best equipment money combined, the best tuners over there. And I knew they were going to be
Right.
on their game. And I just, I'd made it to the semis at the World Series twice. I've been down to 6 or 8 once, and I never made it quite this far without either having a parts breakage or a brain fart. And I just wasn't going to let it, go by. I wasn't going to let this opportunity.
Right.
I was gonna make the best of it I could, and I just got on my game, and I was smooth in the car, and I felt like I had the car to beat, and another 17 and a 56. So
Putting
yeah,
out a clinic, brother, that's a hell of a thing.
yeah. I just felt comfortable in the car, and I talked to a lot of people about how they asked me how you do it, and this and that. I think a lot of it just comes with repetition. I'm real superstitious. The same people put the front end on. The same people check the tires. If I push up to the lanes and we honk the horn twice, that's what we do. I mean, we do it every
Mhm.
time, and that's just kind of part of superstition that goes back to my dad and bracket racing days.
Yeah, well, it's also consistency, right? If you're doing the same thing the same way every time, there's a less of a chance of missing something, isn't there?
Yep. So it's probably one of the biggest wins of my career. I mean, I've won 4 world championships. I've won the world finals at Norwalk one time. I've won a lot of big dogs, local big dog races here.
Hmm.
And I just felt like that I needed this race to continue on my resume and put it on
Right.
there for racing. So,
Well, yeah, I was about to ask you, you're a four-time PDRA champion. What's this latest big money win mean to you in the context of that legacy? But I think just like you beat me off the line right there.
yeah. I mean, it was really good. I mean, I like I say, I've been really close, but no cigar. I had some parts breakages, and I was late against Spencer the year that he went. He was on fire. It was just one of those things, and
Right.
I it meant a lot to me and my team. We had a rough week. We had been there. I've been gone 7 days from my family, and I just I'm not an underfunded team, but I'm probably a lower funded team than some of the others. So it means a lot to me to win the money and at least pay for the event and put a little
Right.
change in my pocket for repairs.
Well, that sounds great. Jason, you had to overcome a lot to get there. No, you didn't cruise into the final. Man, fantastic. Well, John, um, can we go over to your way and see who's out there on the chat line and want to say hello to Jason or offer another thought?
Yeah, we're here from coast to coast right now, and everybody's making comments and congratulating you, Jason, on your big win. And let's see, Rob McCabe said, made sure to update Jason's entry yesterday to complete the 2025 season for him.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, brother. Yeah, we got Rob McCabe keeps all not just pro mod, but all the other categories we cover. We keep that big database updated.
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Yep.
Rob also said he got the best speed of the season in his second best ET by 1,000 behind his 3.559 at Drag Wars at Galot, Galot, Galot.
Yeah. Yeah, we call it Galat. Do we even call it that anymore? What do they call it now? They got Durana something.
Darnia, or yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, that editorialize a bit. I feel like I know we want to get that name out there, but man, it's hard to at least
I mean,
put it in the back of the name of the track.
yeah. I mean, Durana Benson, North Carolina. We still call it Dunn Benson here. That's where
Yeah.
I'm from. So we
Yeah.
still call it
Yeah.
Dunn Benson. It took us years to get used to Galat. So
Yeah.
and Galat stands for get a load of this. So
Yep. I'm a Donald Dunn Benson guy. I mean, I hate because every time you know, I see it all in terms of this database. So I'm like, damn it, we have to change the name of the track again as so we list where everybody runs their stuff. But
yeah.
awesome. What else we got, John? Anybody else with
Yeah, yeah, we have several comments and they're all real good. Derek, y'all were talking about something and I missed it, but Derek said going back to Pro Charger, and he said he's asking that question,
oh,
and
I mean, right now I'm happy with the Hearts. Dustin's did a good job, and I've had a very good relationship with Pro Charger over the years, and I've won. I finished second in my first year, then won 2 championships, and finished second again this year with Pro Charger. So we've got a lot of history together, and I was detrimental in their development of their new F40-1, the new version. Um, I have a sponsor that does provide me with some fundage, and we felt like it was the best interest to put the Hearts on and at least try it. And when we did try it, it was a little faster than what we got now. Um, you know, reliability's kind of been a Pro Charger's downfall the last couple of years. I have had some failures, and I think other people have, and I've also raced 2 years and never had a failure from them. So, I mean, right now, I think the Hearts seems to be the platform that I'm going to stay with. I'm not burning any bridges. These guys are still Pro Charger guys are still good friends of mine. If they come out with something faster, then there's something we'll reevaluate and come back on. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a racer, and as long as I can keep reliability and speed in the same aspect, I think Hearts is the way to go right now.
right, right. Dave Witsolowski said it's party time, and he also said he absolutely loves the tribute scheme. It looked great in the winner's circle 33 years ago after Harold's last win in 1992.
mm-hmm.
Yep, it
Sure.
is.
Well, hey, let's take a couple seconds there because I knew Harold Denton. I assume that's who we're talking about. Good guy, knew him when he was, going 205 in IHRA Pro Stock and run the sixes. But what's your connection with the party time? Is it just a friendship with Daryl or Harold rather, or do you know the
Uh,
Ruths?
Yeah, I mean, I knew the Roots, I knew the Roth brothers and all those guys, but I grew up when Pro Mod became heyday.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with my dad, and he run Top Sportsman and Hot Rod and different things. And so I remember we were talking about this weekend. I'm very fortunate to grow up in this era that we see, because I remember the 8-car shootouts on IHRA on Friday nights, and that's how Pro Mod got started.
Right.
Harold ran Pro Stock, which I just remember this long black rig with this gold leaf and this black car with gold leaf on the side. And if anybody knows anything about the 80s and 90s, gold leaf was on a race car. That was just, my dad had it on the side of his car. He had Car Trader on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And PDRA came out with a rule, I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago, where they were trying to get into like the wrestling or the monster truck kind of thing, where they wanted cars to have names. They just didn't want to have like Bob's car or Jim's, this kind of car. And I think that kind of goes back to the mongoose and the snake and, the swamp rat. And it was a lot of things. So they offered us a 200-point credit if you had a name on the side of your car.
Oh, cool.
So at the time I drove nitrous, and the guy that owned my car was Jimmy Boone, and they live kind of in the same area with Harold. And I just always liked the party time car. And I said, well, I wonder if Harold will let me carry on the party time name. He said, well, I don't know. Let's call him. I was like, well, you know him? He's like, yeah. So we called him, and he was honored. And over the years, we just became good friends. And Harold was probably we still have the Ricky Smiths, the Scotty Cannons, the Bob Gliddens. I mean, there was a lot of guys, the David Rears, these guys that kept our sport and drove people like me to do this. And I felt like it was an honor to carry on his legacy. Now, I've been wanting to do the tribute car for a while, but just never really had the opportunity to do the wrap, or I have a beautiful blue car. So it really wasn't any sense in doing it. And so they were fine with me putting party time on the side of the car, but we had the little explosion at Virginia and tore up the hood. And I said, well, now's as good a time as any. So I had Victory Vinyl get me up a rendering, and we did it. And I mean, it came out absolutely stunning. I mean, it takes the best pictures.
That's
So
fantastic. Well, Harold was great, and I'd say it. You mentioned a lot of great names, and I think where you're going with those who know, Harold Denton's one of the baddest dogs out there, and I mean he goes
yeah,
way back to '70s pro stock. People don't remember that he's running Fords and everything. I mean he could make anything run. So and he's just a great guy.
yeah,
Really glad to hear that. That's fantastic.
yeah.
What do you got there, John? Anybody else with a thought?
Hey, Thurkelson said, congratulations on your championship season, Jason. We are thrilled to have you with us tonight. I hope to catch up with you at the PRI. And Ford Burley said, that's an awesome accomplishment. Congratulations. How many drivers have beat a field of competitors like that? Good
It's
point, Ford.
yeah, it's something.
And
It's like a
Derek,
bracket racing field, basically.
Yeah, it
yeah,
was.
that's right. And Derek said he's curious of your 2026 plans.
That's a good question. I think that's a question a lot of people are asking right now. You know, PDRA released their schedule today, and it's more of a condensed version of what we ran. IHRA has kind of put out their schedule, but I think they've got a couple of, I don't see them getting Atlanta or Memphis ready to go by those dates. But I mean, anything's possible, I guess, if you got enough money.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really know yet. I mean, I think we're going to wait till after PRI this weekend and I'm going up. I've got some sponsors I need to go buy booths and talk. We're going to the TKM booth to do a autograph signing session and LAT oil booth, different places like that to say hey and kiss babies and shake hands. But
Mhm.
I think after this weekend we'll know more. I feel like IHRA is going to put out a stellar points fund, and that's going to be hard to pass up.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw. Do you transition over to the NHRA side anytime? I know Sydney and those folks do, and
No, I had an opportunity about 2 years ago. I drove Jason Lee's car when he had started, when they first started running NHRA. He had to be out of town for his daughter's wedding, and I went up to Cecil and tested it for him. And I didn't really fit in the car good, and I didn't want to take a man's ride and pile it up because I knew he was in a
right.
championship chase. So I did make some 1,000 foot runs. I just hadn't had the opportunity, and the money's just a little bit too steep for me over there. If I had
Mhm.
the fundage, I think, or maybe a separate car, I might would go over there. My car is actually NHRA legal, but uh, you know, I don't think that's probably in my game plan right now.
Gotcha. John, any other thoughts, or what do you think? We ready to roll?
Me?
Yeah, or you
Oh,
or anybody else on the chat. I'll make sure we don't.
well, yeah, we're all here paying attention to you right now, Jason. We're caught up for the moment on comments and questions.
That's fine. That's fine. Yep.
Rock on. Thanks, everybody. Hey, I know Rob McCabe's on there because he and I kind of bust our heads sometimes, and we pull old Brett Kepner in and other folks to try to figure this out. But the categorization of the pro mod cars, I wanted to chat with you a little bit about the technical, what you think about, the separation of them. Like we tried to way back, and you can tell I've been doing this since the 80s, right? When these things came out, because I initially listed like legal pro mod, and then I listed outlaw pro mod, right?
Mm-hmm,
And of course,
mm-hmm.
you got your quick eights, you got people running fives in the court. I don't know about anymore, but back then you could run fives, you would get listed right in the eighth mile. But now, so I guess we go pro charger, I guess we do supercharger, I think we do nitrous, but then some nitrous cars are sort of considered outlaw as well, according to Rob. I mean, he and I are trying to solve this. I mean, what's sort of where you come down on what these cars are? I mean, they're clearly legal within the parameters of the category rule, like PDRA. So a PDRA nitrous guy, is that equivalent to like what's traditionally been a nitrous guy in the NHRA or the IHRA back in the day? Is there any sense in separating like outlawed nitrous from like legal nitrous anymore? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think you've got three levels of nitrous now. You've got NHRA legal; they weigh a little more, but they've got um, the same basic motors, lockups, trannies, same thing. Uh, I think they weigh 25, so they're a lot lighter than most of your, I mean, a lot heavier than most of your pro nitrous cars. Since they've kind of implemented the no pusher system, I think that would be considered more of a legal pro nitrous
Hmm.
system. And then you've got somebody like Halsley, which I would consider outlaw. Like I mean, he says he's not running a pusher system, but I mean, he may be. It would be hard. I would just probably categorize it as just pro nitrous and just leave it at that, because I think at this point in time, that's kind of where we're going. And that being said, there's a big rumor that IHRA is going to be dropping pro nitrous.
Really?
Yeah, that was part of the deal that they made with PDRA when they bought Virginia Motorsports Park. That if he bought the track and they left PDRA alone, that he would leave pro nitrous alone and just let PDRA have pro nitrous. Which I've seen some comments today for some friends and just different people talking about how now you've got a $500,000 race car to run 7 races.
Right.
And a lot of these guys live in Ohio, Michigan, and most of the PDRA races are down here. Uh, that being said, I just don't. I mean, I'm a nitrous guy. That's where I started. I started with a 632 with
Hmm.
2 kits, and then I've been all the way up to 959. I've been a 65 in a nitrous car. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Wow.
uh, um, I mean,
That's the setup there, wasn't it? 632 with a couple of kits on.
yeah, that was it. I went 413, thought I was the baddest man alive.
Yeah, well, you were then.
Yeah. I don't really know where nitrous stands anymore. I hate to see it kind of barrel down this pro extreme kind of era where it's kind of just growing out because guys are either can't afford it or there's nowhere to run it. Um, Obviously, it's not feasible for some guys to switch over to boost and do what we did. Um, you know, I really enjoy running nitrous, but just because of it's hard. It's probably the hardest platform to run
Hmm.
because you're adding horsepower and taking horsepower away, and it's not a linear movement. It's a lot harder,
Right.
and it's a lot more expensive. But at the same aspect, I mean, these guys have got to understand you kind of got to get in where you fit in, and if it's not there, if you want to continue to race, then you're going to have to make the appropriate moves to move it. And um, it, you know, I would, I hope that they don't separate them like that. I would hope maybe IHRA could work out some kind of deal. I think it's kind of selfish, maybe a little bit, for one organization to have it, not the other one. As
Hmm.
long as they're not overlapping, I don't see a problem with it because it's really hurting a lot of the nitrous guys to have to
Yeah.
choose where they want to run. and,
Right.
and and you can't run them with boosted cars. I mean,
Right.
Jim ran really good this weekend until he had the unfortunate incident. Him and Rudolph got to get, they didn't get together, but they had a crash
Right.
basically at the same time.
Yeah.
But I mean, he ran right there with us, but at what expense? Like nobody's going to do what he did.
Right.
Nobody's going to go out there and go through 2 or 3 motors and put a rack in every run. I mean, just
Right.
not going to do it.
Yeah.
So
So that's, and it goes also to we've been trying for years and decades to like, sync them up with weight and pulley and, all this stuff and overdrive. And, there's really never, it's always someone going to be on top. And,
yeah, yeah.
and then you got instead of the engineers and racers, you got people with pencils making the decision.
Yeah, and I don't think you can ever slow down us enough and make them light enough to equalize it. But I
Right.
may be wrong. We'll see.
Well, that's fascinating stuff. Appreciate that. Tell me a little bit about the Pro Charger or Hearts Charger now against like the standard superchargers that folks are used to. What's in terms of relative performance and how difficult or easy it is to tune those or and run them? What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I think they both have a lot more difficulty. I think you're going to see a lot of the screw chargers. Um, we just now really perfecting the EFI on the screw chargers. So I think we're getting Frigo had that, Cartuccio had that. I mean, you still got some guys like Steve King and Melanie and Tutaro and them. They run the standard mechanical stuff on there. I think you're going to see them kind of turn the corner as far as technology. Uh, Pro Charger, Hearts Charger, I think we're still just basically knocking on the door of what's capable.
Hmm.
We only make about 20 pounds on the 2-step where they make 40 and then they make 40 the whole way. Well, we do make 60 out the back, but it
Wow.
takes us, 2 seconds to get there. But so, I mean, there's differences. I think it's just on how you tune and where you're at.
Right.
Turbos are in a whole nother ball game. I think the turbo guys kind of learned a lesson this weekend. They're very fast. If the track, they're almost like RVW cars. If the track is there and the conditions are there, they can be the fastest in the world. But
Right.
any kind of change in variable in track temp or uh, variable in weather, they're not very consistent.
Got it. And those were the guys that came in starting to run 250s back in the, when was it, 10, 15, 20 years ago? I'm quite old, so I don't remember exactly. But those turbo guys were like, whoa,
Yeah.
it just it always kind of up in it. Well, let's we mentioned Jimmy earlier, so let's talk about that amazing run he did down here at Budds Creek. By the way, that's 12 miles south of me here. I was the announcer there for many years. Um, what is so obviously that was, you know, about as outlaw as you can get, I reckon. So
Yeah.
what is that compared to what you ran this last weekend? And in terms of setup and
I don't know what his weight was in. I don't know how light he can get it. Truthfully, his car and my car are basically identical. Carl Stevenson built both cars. Well,
Mhm.
Bickle built them, but Carl finished them and did everything. Uh, you know, Carl's a smart guy. He kind of knows turbos. He knows the motors. I don't know what turbo size. I heard they were running 112 millimeter turbos. I don't know how true that is. I would say they were probably running somewhere around 103s. Uh, but they had titanium converter lockups. I mean, they had the best of the best. Rossler transmissions really stuck with them. Had 5 or 6 different ones with different gear ratios and dumps and this. And Budds Creek has always been notoriously fast. Always
Yeah.
has. So maybe that just played into it. And Jimmy and them did a lot of testing. They went to Orlando and tested for 3 or 4 days, and then went right over there and they tested well.
Hmm.
But I mean, I've done the same thing. I mean, I've been testing before too, and made great runs, and thought, hell, I've got a hold of it, and then get to the racetrack and be completely lost. So,
Right, right.
uh,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Two
I
tenths is a hell of a thing, though.
I don't think I didn't think I'd ever see anybody running in the 30s ever.
Yeah.
I
I,
didn't think it was possible.
yeah, it's Frankly Taylor and them and Turkey Al Severi, whatever that guy's name was, like run them 540s. That was a decade ago, it seems like,
Mm-hmm.
but and I know they do slow them up, or they try to. I mean, you can never
Yeah.
hold a racer off, but pretty
I
amazing.
He told me trying to run the quarter, it was the scariest thing he'd ever done, because I think they were chunking tires like fuel cars, and
Wow.
the front end was pushing down and coming apart, and it just I think he had maybe one shot that he probably should have went through, and I think he probably would have set the world on fire, but I
Yeah,
think it just wasn't. I think they were playing it safe, and I think
yeah.
once they played it safe, they realized that might not be an obtainable goal.
Yeah. Well, the man ran an 11, and the best, alcohol funny car in the world, I think, is a 35 or something. I mean, they just blew right by top alcohol funny cars,
Yeah.
which just you could have argued that those were pretty similar if you with the top guys in each respective category, but that was a pretty ludicrous run.
Maybe they need to allow turbos in a top alcohol funny car.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Yeah.
It's always something. Well, tell us about so let's go back to your PDRA days. You 4 championships. Can you give us kind of a high level walkthrough of those 4 things? Obviously, the first one thrilling, but then as you added the other ones, sort of what did you do? What did you learn as you added those to your tool belt?
I think there's, in 14 was kind of like a magical year. I went to 8 finals. I mean, 6 finals, 8 races. Well, I went to 8 finals and won 6 of them, excuse me.
Wow.
So I've run it up too. So, I mean, I had like a 32-0 record at that point in time. So, I mean, it was an amazing year, and it kind of just was a big blur because it just happened. And um, it was a dominating year. And I mean, I just knew right then, and maybe I'd use all my luck in drag racing in one year. But it was a great year. I had a great crew. My daughter she was about, let's see, she was about 3 years old, 4 years old. So we were dragging her around. My wife was pregnant with my son at the time. So, I mean, it was just a stellar year. Can't ask for anything better. And then I fell off there for a little while. I made some changes in my program that probably weren't for the best. And got around to 18. I don't think I won a race in, let's see, 3 years, 4 years. I don't think I got to the finals a few times, but never won one. And then I got to 18 and just seemed to find my way back to the winter circle. I had a good program and got a new car, and just everything kind of fell together. And, you know, we ran the next year, didn't really do so well in 19. Just kind like you say, trying to innovate and try different things, and just kind of fell back off the wagon. And then 20, we decided to go pro charger with the black car you see there,
Hmm.
and finished second that year, just barely out of first. And, and then I kept my nose to the grindstone, back and forth between nitrous and dad, just whoever I could get a ride with, trying to find my way back.
Right.
And then I ended up getting this blue car. And when we got the blue car, we knew that we put the combination that we had in the black car back in there, that we would be successful. And that's kind of the rest is history, just winning those two. But I learned that winning feels great, but you've also got to use a little bit of humility, and you've got to play the life game and just be cool, and
Right.
not try to get excited. Just try to be level headed as you can.
Right. I know we mentioned Brett Kepner earlier, but he's actually been in the points in his local track over the years, and of course he had that Mr. Dirt series where he taught everybody the in and outs of bracket racing that he learned. And he said when you're in the points, especially leading, he says it just you think you're tough and you think you're calm and cool and collected, but it just gets you, right?
It does. It
And
does. Yeah. But
so yeah, so how much? I mean, it's quite a mental, obviously some muscle memory involved, and but a lot of mental toughness, right? How do you prep for a big race or like when it's race day?
I think you could. I mean, my wife and my father will probably argue with me a little bit. I mean, it seems like if I'm focused, they know I'm focused and I'm on and I'm good to go. Sometimes I think I get a little bit sidetracked. I'm a helper. I'm a mechanic by trade, so I like to help people and get their car straight. So sometimes you get people at the track and they need help or they need this, and I'm never said no to a friend, and I will help them best way I can. So I think sometimes that gets distracting, but I enjoy tuning and doing making these cars go fast. So that's kind of a skill that I've learned to enjoy. But you just, Ricky Smith told me a long time ago that, the wins don't get easier. They just get more frequent.
Yeah,
When you get a little, you start to get a little more level headed as you get older. So I
yeah,
think
he's
once you
great.
win that first one, the next one's just kind of seem a little easier. And then I think I've won 17 PDRA races, 18 PDRA races. So, and probably 11 big dogs.
Wow.
So over the years, I've put up some wins, and so I think you just you learn. Like even in the finals and down here, I mean, I was a little nervous, but I was probably more nervous first and second round. But
Right.
I think once I got to the finals, I felt like I had accomplished win, lose, or draw. I think I'd kind of put my name out there, and I just kind of leveled it out and made it work.
Yeah, sounds great. Oh my gosh. So you heard it here, folks. If you're out there struggling, Jason laying it out. John, let's go one more time to our chat. I know we've had such a great convo tonight that we're running us out of time, but what do the folks out there have to say? Oops, you're muted, my friend. John, we got you on mute, buddy. Can you hop off? There
Sorry
you go.
about that. It's real busy in here tonight. Rob McCabe said, thought we'd be out of the woodwork on Pro Chargers versus Superchargers, EFI designations on the database. PDRA just announced their 2026 season, all East Coast, and returning to Darlington to start the year. And he said, right now, with top sportsmen on the elite side, with Butcher, Thrift, Tiffy, etc., and the 632 guys and gals.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tammy
right.
Thompson. Tammy Thompson says, "Hey Jason, Andy T is so proud."
Yep.
And Randy Johnston said, "Great names on cars are super adds personality to the sport." As of
Mhm.
this afternoon, Lee Kraft recommends that IHRA allow nitro into Pro Mod.
Ooh.
Woo.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
That raised my eyebrows.
Yeah.
Well, he used
Yeah.
to do, Super Chevy Nitro Series, Bill Coolman and them guys, and they're
I think
they,
I think maybe they'll stick with Outlaw Pro Mod. Maybe they want to try it over there. That's fine with me. I think some guys
yeah,
are building some of the Outlaw Pro Mods now. I think that's going to kind of see that come back around a little bit. So maybe it's something we will see.
Right.
crazy man.
Rob said that he was close to Cowie's top alcohol dragster mark.
Yeah, that's right. Damn it, no, it's
Yeah,
worse. It's better than that. That's
Yeah,
quicker than
yeah.
any blown top alcohol dragster ever ran.
Well, they,
Because I mean, I think you have to
yeah.
correct. Oh no, or did he want a 10
I
maybe?
think he went a 10. I think he went a
Yeah,
9 or
okay.
10.
Holy man, but that's unusual. And coming up on Megan's A fuel number of the 509.
Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah. But
wow.
I mean,
That's awesome. And Kira Steinbach said that's awesome. And Party Time Pro Stock said, what's your best ET at Piedmont and when are we going fishing?
I know who that is. My best ET at Piedmont was a three. I want to think I went 370, 205.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
those are great numbers, man. That's unbelievable. We're caught up for the moment on comments and questions. And I asked him, I said, y'all got any comments or questions? And I forgot to scroll down, and there's about 10 of them.
We appreciate you, John, and thanks everybody for joining. Good stuff, man. I know that I actually like the PDRA idea about the name thing because go back over the last 20, 30 years. There's, I go to a pro mod race. I mean, I'm an old 70s funny car guy, so I was living those paint jobs and those names. And then you go to guys coming up with like, nothing. They're black
yeah,
and they may have the guy's name on the door. You're like, how do you tell one from another sometimes? And down that way, guys will roll up with something on the back of a trailer and you never saw it before. They fall off the thing going 420s and 4.0s. It's you couldn't I bet I need to go count how many cars we have out there because there's hundreds and hundreds of them, not
yeah.
thousands.
You think about Gravedigger. Would Gravedigger be Gravedigger if it was just that paint job with
Yeah,
and on a Willys panel wagon? I mean,
that
it'd
would
just be another monster truck. And I think that's something they hit on because and that kind of comes from wrestling. You had guys that the Macho Man and Ric Flair, and you had to get personalities. And in over the years, I've gotten a little more personality as far as getting on, podcasts and on Facebook and things like that have helped me. We try to be nice guys, but you got to have a little personality.
yeah,
I mean, I love the fact that we had Animal Jim. We had, even though Scotty the Cannonball. I mean, he was Cannonball, but or the Flying
yeah,
Tomato, or and he still had Onstad on the side, and you had Johnny Rocca.
yeah,
Had those cars right there. They had names. I mean, I want to see guys that put names on their cars just because there's nothing like an 8-year-old kid coming up and
right,
screaming party time to me,
yeah,
even though mine's not Superman or Spider-Man. And that kind of comes from Big Dog. Back in the days that was a big thing. We had Superman, Spider-Man, we had Batman, we had all
right,
kinds of, and that just makes you feel good. Cause at the end of the day, I'm still Jason Harris,
yeah,
but I'm Jason Party Time Harris now. I mean, if I go through the pits, people don't scream Jason, Jason, Jason. They scream party time, party
yeah,
time, party time. That's how it goes. And so that's where it's at. And I challenge a lot of these other guys to do that. I mean, if you want to, it's not always about racing and winning. It's also
right,
about, showboating a little bit. I mean, we do this for a living. You want to be proud of it. I
right,
would love to see the guys. I mean, would Stevie Jackson, would he be Stevie Jackson or would he be Stevie Fast Jackson?
right,
Mm-hmm.
You
right.
know?
That's a
So
guy that surprised me. I guess I don't give them TV guys their due, but he rolled up on me. Yeah, this guy's going to come win in pro mod, right? No, damn if he didn't.
yeah, yeah.
So
Stevie's gonna.
I need to shut my mouth and sit back where I belong.
I think NHRA would benefit from some of that. I mean,
Yeah,
you could see these guys. I'd love to see the Snake and the Mongoose and all these guys come back because
right.
it's turned a little corporate. And
Yeah,
obviously corporations pay money. I mean, as you can see, I've got tons of stickers on my car, and they pay good, and they're great sponsors, and I want to pay them back full steam. But do I want to pay them back with just wins, or I want to pay them back with personality? And these guys,
right,
they know when they put a sticker on my car that people are going to, when they say party time, they're going to know that LAT and Southern Diamond Company are part of that.
right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm a 70s kid, and when I was following them, and it just, yeah, I don't like the corporation stuff. I also don't like when NHRA, in this case, tries to make up names and give people names that comes from the corporate side or comes from the organization. You got Ed Ace McCulloch earned that Ace name, and
Yeah.
Snake. They all earned those names, even though Ed Donovan came up with Snake and Mongoose. They earned them that way. But when people try to, they try to, well, whatever. You get where I'm going, but
Yeah.
well, I agree with you. Well, we're getting awful close to have to say farewell, but this I can talk all night. We'll cut you loose here. But what are your do you have anybody you want to give some shout outs to while we have you here?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've had a lot of interviews in the last couple of days, but I got to thank the sponsors that stand behind me. Number one, Southern Diamond Company. They came on board with me 2 years ago, and we hit it off real well. They sell high end Rolex watches and diamonds and stuff. And who would have thought jewelry store and drag racing went together? But it absolutely has been a godsend for them guys to be a part of it. They've been as much help to me as I've been to them, and I think vice versa. We got a great partnership. LAT Oil, Danny and them guys, they came up, when the other oil companies were pushing a lot of drivers. They stuck with these guys and put out a great product that's very usable, and they've got a great name in the business. Hoosier Race Tires been with me since I was 20 years old. They're probably the best in the business. If anybody else, you don't ever see anybody else running anything but Hoosier tires. So that's kind of the way it goes. And TKM Performance is somebody I just took on in the last 2 years. Kevin Mullins, these guys are kind of piggybacking with Proline to develop a motor program where they can take care of us and service us guys up here. And we don't have to go as far down to Atlanta when them guys are busy. So that's working out really well. M&M Transmissions. I got a new one, Choke Express Gunworks. They make custom shotguns. You guys need custom shotguns for your families and things like that. They'll engrave Draglist on the side of it, whatever you want to do. This guy makes, great stuff. Heart Charger stuck with me this year. So far so good with them guys, and we'll continue to have a good relationship with them. But I mean, other than that, I got to thank my family and the Lord himself. He's been blessed me. I've got a great family of understanding. My wife probably loves drag racing. She didn't know what a drag car was. Second date, we went on a bracket race. I got my butt worked first round and went back home. So, I mean, we've been together 23 years almost now. So, they've done it, and I want to thank my dad for paving the way for me. He taught me how to bracket race. He taught me what racing's all about. He's installed it in me to be the racer I am today. He's really hard on me. He gives me a lot of grief about bad lights, and he's got a lot of input. He probably doesn't have as much input on this stuff as he used to when the other things as much as he'd like to, but when it comes to racing and competition, there's nobody better than him. And the Denton family for allowing me to carry on the Party Time name.
That's fantastic, and that was the biggest thrill. I saw the name, but it's great to know that it's direct to Harold. Well, let's ask you one final question, Jason. Where can folks find you online or elsewhere if they want to follow along, or maybe they want to buy some merchandise if they've got that available?
Yeah, I do have t-shirts available. We got t-shirts with a new logo and stuff. Just hit me on partytimeracing.com. I mean, Party Time Racing Facebook, sorry. You go to Party Time Racing Facebook page. We'll get back to you. There's 3 of us that handle it. So one of us will get back. You'll get an automated message, but we will get back to you as fast as we can. You can go to Jason Harris on my Facebook page. Go there. We're on Instagram, Party Time Racing. Anybody that needs anything, they can reach me through Southern Diamond Company. Those guys will get a hold of me. But we have a podcast that we do on Mondays, twice a month, called Boost and Bullshit, where me and Steve King get on there and just kind of, we talk about things we talk about today. We talk about things that maybe some people don't want to talk about. So,
yeah.
But you can reach us there. But other than that, any social media platform I'm on, and we'll get back to you as fast as we can.
Outstanding, Jason. Thanks. John, you got a final thought?
Yes. Okay, I'm not muted.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Jason, it's an honor to have you with us tonight. You're a true champion, and it's just great that you came over to visit with us. And we got a post here from Corky McCormack. He said, "So proud of you guys this past weekend, and so glad my son has the opportunity to be part of your crew."
Yep. Travis is the ringleader for the Southern Diamond Company. We call him the Watchman. So he carries around a case of Rolexes, and these guys all these racers like high end stuff like that, and I do too. I've become quite a watch connoisseur, but Travis has been a welcome to the team. He's been great for me as far as he does a lot of marketing for me. We do T-shirts and stuff like that. Kid's got a good eye for racing. He might not can drive a race car, but he sure as hell knows how to promote one.
That sounds right. Everybody has a part, and
That's right. Yep.
and Jason Harris, your part was winning 4 PDRA championships and putting 50 grand in your pocket down at the Snowbirds. Congratulations, and thanks so much. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and look forward to finding out what you're going to do in 26.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
All
Thanks,
right,
John.
ladies and gentlemen, Jason Harris, and have a great evening, sir. We'll see you down the road. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, sir. Yep.
All right, man, that was so awesome. Let's say farewell to Jason, and I'm going to get out of the way and turn it over to JB for this week's JB's take and the racer of the week. John?
Thanks, BP. My pick for racer of the week is Hampus Stofflund from Skellefteå, Sweden. Hampus is the pilot of a Pontiac Firebird top methanol funny car, and he is a top competitor in the European drag racing scene. I'm proud to feature him in his awesome hot rod tonight. Hampus sent me the following info, and thank you for doing that, Hampus. His dad started racing in the late 80s. Then he started funny car racing in the late 90s in Super Comp. He moved up to top methanol in the mid 2000s. Hampus started junior racing at age 10 and raced that to age 18. He had the fortune to be the first race car to cross the finish line at the Tierp Arena track with the junior dragster. He wants to encourage all the young drivers out there to never give up and always not lose out on the family part of racing, because the days of junior racing was for sure a few of the best years of his life, being out there all over the Nordics for 12 weekends a year. He took his license in 2014 with the small 671 blower, and they had some success winning a few races in the first few years in Super Pro ET. He had the fortune to run a double dragster for an event in 2014, getting some full-size dragster experience. He had a year of racing a Nova in the Street 10.5 after the driver and owner was unable to drive himself that season. They moved up to a bigger 1471 blower for the 2019 season to start running quicker with the setup they still have today. A 526 cubic inch engine with Brad 5 heads, a Leander's clutch, and a Lenco trams. Corona made them park the car, and when they were about ready to go back out, he lost his firstborn child. Hampus was not sure if he was ever going back in the cockpit again. But they decided to give it a try in 2023, and it kicked the spark back up again. They worked their way forward, improving every year, and for 2025, they had managed to run the times required for the top methanol license with the blower for the class's small blower. They entered the Tierp Arena European Championship event to get some experience on the crew and driver and managed to qualify while they had the most fun they have had in years. That has made them want more. So now the engine is out for sale, and they have started on building for what's to come. They know they need more horsepower to be up there at the top in the FIA series, but for now, what that means has to stay a secret for another while. But all they can tell you now is they are headed for uncharted territory. Hampus's goals are going forward is to have a fully competitive car in top methanol, and one day run the full European Championship would be his dream. Hampus sends thanks to his family and team, their sponsors, Mobile One, DeWalt, O'Leary's, ISIL, Ironside, Skellefteå Clam, and this is a big word, Stromberg-Stanst, and everyone else supporting them on their journey. Well, Elvis, thank you for the great info on your racing history. And this is a great, funny car. We wish you good luck, safe racing, and the best of times in the future. Everybody stay safe and well. You are the most important part of this show, and we love you all. It's a great way to spend an hour together on a Monday night, and we'll see y'all next time. God bless America. Back to you, BP.
Thank you, John. Good stuff. And hey, we got to holler at Rob McCabe out there and make sure we have this gentleman on the drag lists. Sometimes I don't get all the great European folks like I need to, so we got to get working on that. But
Right.
and that is not on Rob. That's on me. We got a ton of folks over there. What we need is a nice European drag list ambassador, an Australian one, and then probably one at every other major continent. But we'll start with those two.
Well, it's
Anyway,
great. It's great to have Rob. What
you
can I
bet.
say? He just posted Draglist Live, the show of champions.
Sounds good. Let's see if John can do a Wheaties box commercial for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about special notices. A big event coming up, folks. The Foot Brake Practice Tree Nationals, the Winter Nationals, rather, part of the Cars for Kids fundraising team at Lenny Loddick's place. We talked about it last week. On January 17th. Also, we need to start promoting the indoor drag racing show up there in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, which I think is coming on the week before that. I think on the 11th. I need to get those details from our friend and put that stuff up. But let's go on to the upcoming guests. Thanks to Miss K, we got some amazing racers coming up, and that starts this next Monday night with Justin Schriefer, the Fuel Funny Car racer, independent guy out there doing it against the big money guys. But he's amazing. Justin Schriefer going to be joining us next Monday night, December 15th. On December 22nd, happy Merry Christmas. No show on the 22nd. Miss M will be in town from Chicago, and we're looking forward to have the whole family together. And I hope you and your families and friends are able to get together that week as well. Um, Coming up on the 29th, and Teddy J. Say of Say It Loud Motorsports will be joining us to wrap up 2025. And then coming starting in January, Richard Gadsden, the brand new Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champion from NHRA, will be joining us on the 5th. On the 12th, it's Scott Woody Woodruff from IHRA telling us all about that fantastic series. And on the 19th, Mason McGahey, the NHRA Pro Stock racer, is going to be joining us. The young man had a fantastic year and hit some like tremendous lights. On the 26th, Miss K's trying to make me guess. She said, "You haven't guessed it yet who this special guest is." On the 26th, she did give me a hint. It's going to be a couple of people. So I'm gonna let's see if folks can figure that out as we go forward with January 26th. A big guest or two is going to be joining us. On February 2nd, Luke Bogacki, the IHRA dual champion and a longtime sportsman superstar, and Vito Micciolo from Northeast or National Pro Mod Association. I keep saying that wrong because there's two different organizations. Vito is going to be joining us on February 9th. The 16th, we will fill up. And then on the 23rd of February, it's the man himself, Animal Jim Foyer. We mentioned Jim tonight, along with Jason Harris, one of those guys who was back there running those quick 8 IHRA events. And of course, United States Super Circuit and so many other great pro mod days. And I looked at tonight, Kay's been after me saying, let me know about March and April, man. I'm chomping at the bits to fill those months. So I looked at, excuse me, March, April, and May 2026. And I really think we're going to have a show every single night, except for maybe Memorial Day on the 25th of May. So we're going to turn Kay loose. Maybe Pete Moriello can go search some people on the West Coast as well. And we will fill up some show dates. Excuse me. Well, let's get back to it here. Let's go on to those we lost, folks. A huge name uh, left us on the 1st of December. Dennis Ferrara. Uh, he was one of the true standouts of NHRA Competition Eliminator, known for his wicked quick, beautifully engineered machines. Consistently ran at the sharp end of the index game. He knew exactly how to run it. He often would cross over into pro stock with some of those great door cars. A multi-time national event winner, constant threat in Division One, widely respected for precision, creativity, and a relentless work ethic. Dennis passing on December 1st leaves a hole in the comp community and its history. He was, if Dennis showed up, you knew that you had a fight on your hands. Dennis Ferrara passing away on December 1st. And then the third, we mentioned this gentleman tonight with Jason, Robert Kinton, an IHRA tech official. He hustled sluggish drivers at the head of the staging lanes, and he greeted racers at the tech trailer. A beloved part of the new era of the IHRA, and he's been around forever. Farewell to Robert Kinton. And our condolences to the family and friends of these great racers, and to both of them. Thanks for the thrills, Dennis Ferraro. I remember reading about him, in my teens, and all the way through. And Robert Kitten, thank you for taking care of us on the track, sir. John, before we do a final wrap, any thoughts from you?
Well, this was a wonderful evening. Having everybody with us that were here. It was great comments and questions. And Jason Harris it's like I said, man, the guy's a true champion. And I was just thrilled to be a part of this show tonight.
He was great. Thank you, John. Yeah, we got a couple of links to do. I've been actually doing a little extra work after the shows. I've been putting all of the show notes that Zoom actually it kind of captures the notes. I've been sticking those underneath the show notes, and hopefully that will, help us help folks find us a little bit more. Doing real good at getting additional subscribers, but please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the little Draglist logo down there. We'd love to have you part of the crew. My goal, early in 2026, I want to double us to 1,000 subscribers. I might start doing a little advertising to get that going. But let's go on and do our wrap, folks. We want to thank Jason Harris, who was amazing. I mean, really, the guy's top notch. I mean, you're talking about, a bunch of 417 lights, or I mean, zeros 17 lights. I'm showing my age. We don't put the four to point four to start anymore. But a bunch of 17 lights at 23 and taking out 80 or 79 other guys, and just unbelievable. And all the superstars that he got lined up against, by choice, or by pull of the tab, luck of the draw. It was pretty amazing. Thank you to John Bachman, my brother, takes such good care of us. Kay Turkelson, who is working hard. By the way, Kay, babes, I'm loving those videos you're putting up on the Draglist Facebook page. All the little shout out videos. She put them all together into a post. And just it's so wonderful to hear those folks. I have my little partner, Rashri, who helps me at work, and she might come and do a little, maybe we'll have her do a little drag race and stuff down the road. But she was like, I was playing him for her the other day. She was thrilled to hear him. So, and great stuff. Thank you, Kay. Pete Mariello out there rocking and rolling for us. Rob McCabe, a tireless advocate and tireless updates. David Oakes with the great photos. Mel Bashore, Ron Toombs, John Mernon II, who is just filling up the drag lists with photos from Steve Reyes and all these other great, Richard Shute and Dave Commel, all these great photographers who are giving us their work so that we can help illustrate the drag list. And thank you so much to them. And of course, Jeff Gilder from Zeus Digital Marketing and the Racers Reunion Radio, who got us started way back then in 2010. And of course, thanks in heaven to the big man, Danny White. I see his name all the time because we do have to continually edit the lists. And so I see Danny's name, and whenever I do have to update one, it pops my name at the bottom, or it pops Super Crew. Really, I'm like Super Crew is anybody that is just not with us anymore, or myself. But I do make sure we put Danny's name in the notes so that his entry is never forgotten. As we go forward, folks, once again, click the like and click the share button down below. Let your friends know we're here. Once again, that little Draglist logo, the red and black and white square. Click that bad boy to subscribe. Check out on draglist.com every single day to see what's new, because we do post the worldwide drag racing news every day. And you can find us on the Radio Bob Network, which showcases our shows. So anyway, folks, it was a pleasure to hang out with you tonight, as always. Come back next Monday night for Justin Schriefer, and we're going to find out what it takes to run a nitro funny car on the NHRA circuit against all the big names out there. Until then, my name is Bill Pratt. Let me hit the magic button here. And on behalf of John Bachman and everybody else and Jason, who was our guest tonight, we will see you next week. Man, Christmas is coming. Make a list, check it twice. Let's see. We already know who's naughty and nice. Bye, everybody.